Alright, hey guys, it's Advanced with Tag Gaming. I'm super excited over the last 2 days or whatever. I got a hold of my Aorus GIGABYTE GTX 1080 Ti XTREME or OC edition. I'm using their new utility. Not really going into the utility a whole lot. I mean, unless you get the card, you're really not going to want it. But just kind of show you that it's in OC mode, which is nice, dude. I really don't overclock graphics cards and mess around with them, but if they come out with like a utility that you can just easily just click a button, then I do it. And so it's in OC mode right now. And what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to run Firestrike Time Spy. And yeah, it's going to take a minute because I'm going to run it while you're watching it. You'll watch it. I will, once it starts running, the music's going and it's doing the thing, I'll kind of let it do its things. But once it goes to the rest of the benchmarks where there's no sound, then I'll do some discussion and go further from there. So let's go ahead and run this, and I want to show you guys just how phenomenal this card is. Right now I'm on a Asus Maximus Formula 9. I was on a Formula 7 and I had a 4790K overclocked at 4.5, and here I have the 7700K overclocked at 4.5. It will do 5. I put it at 5 and I've tested it and it's been stable, but the amount of gains per frequency and the temperature at what my cooler does for it, I like to run it at 4.5. It's just like optimal performance versus sound. And going from a 4790K to a 7700K, both at 4.5, there is a significant increase, especially skipping, a generation. And then just having the new chipset, it's kind of nice. But anyhow, this right here, like I said, is at 4.5. And I do have some G-Skill Triton RGB RAM, which is really friggin' cool, and the price has gone just through the roof on it. It's crazy. I only have 16 gigs because that's all I could get a hold of when it first came out. It is 3466, so it's nice to have something to go higher than 2133 like my older board. Part of the reason I upgraded. Also, my M.2 before I needed to have a adapter card, and this right here has a little shield, and the M.2 goes in the motherboard, and you can't even see it's on there. It's great. But let's get on with it and what you want to see, and that is the benchmark. Alright guys, so why the rest of the benchmarks running, so you can see this. Part of the reason why I'm torturing you and kind of putting you through the benchmark is because I want you to see the benchmark run. I mean, I know some of them take a long time. This benchmark is not that long, and if you really didn't want to see the full thing run, you can just fast forward. Unless you're doing something or you don't care, then you can watch it. That's one nice thing. Now, what I want to talk about real quick is that I got the card yesterday from Newegg, and obviously they're very hot, selling out, and I really wanted EVGA for the Win 3, and just their pre-sale is over a month out, and I'm like, screw that, why wait? I mean, I could buy this card, run this card, and then just go ahead and sell it a little bit of loss and buy that card. But I have been with Gigabyte since the 680s. I had 970s and SLIs, I had a 980 TIOC or OC, and then I had a 1080 here Extreme Edition card, which actually I was extremely upset about. I went through 4 of them. Each one would burn out within about 30 days, and Newegg just keeps sending them to me. And you know, I tested systems, and that was on my 4790K, and the new one on this system, 7700K. There's a problem they had with the Revision 1 cards, and I was like, Newegg, you know, I'm like, dude, this is just insane. Will you send me a Revision 2 card? And they're like, nope, just because there's too much of a disconnect from their people from the warehouse. And they're like, how are we even supposed to know? I said, well, you look at the side of the box, right? The guy pulling the card looks at the side of the box, says Rev 2, and sends it to me, and probably my problem's over. But no, I keep getting a card sent every 20 to 30 days. They just keep resending me one, and I'm sending it back. And so, I mean, I pretty much got probably cards that were like right off the assembly line, pretty close to each other, right? And they were all still Revision 1 cards after so much time. I mean, these cards literally could have been 2 or 3 cards down on the same run when it was being assembled, if you know anything about production, and palleted and shipped to them. So whatever they solved and fixed in Revision 2 was probably the Revision 1 issue with whatever it was failing. And basically what would happen is you'd be gaming or something with the card, and the screen would go black. The fans on the card would say they're stopped, but the fans would be spinning at 100%. It's just very annoying, very upsetting. And, you know, to spend over $700 on a card and to have to keep sending it back, I mean, the downtime, especially on a new card, very disappointing. And I pretty much just said, Gigabyte, never again. You know, my primary manufacturers I've stuck with over the years has been Asus, EVGA, Corsair, Intel, Lee, Western Digital, not Cooler Master, Arctic Cooling. You know, I kind of have primaries I always stick with. Actually, I've been running Kingston HyperX since friggin', I don't know, 98 or something like that, and I finally went to G-Skill. Alright, enough with that, we're on to the benchmark. So, this is the lowest score I've seen so far. My first time I ran the benchmark, without even reinstalling the drivers, just putting the card in, I actually got 9.5 something, which would be 2,000 points over my previous card, the 1080, which is insane. My score might be down because a load on my CPU might have brought that down. Usually that could be a little bit higher. I know if I overclock the processor to 5 gigahertz, it will come in slightly over 6,000 there. But at 4.5, it'll hover somewhere around 54, 55, maybe 56. The graphics score, I haven't been paying too much attention to it, to tell you the truth. I've been just looking up here. The main thing I really want to look at usually is after I run the test is what the I look at this, and you know what's crazy? This has been 94 every time, and even with the higher score, and all of a sudden it's a 95. So that's kind of weird. I mean, even when it was 9.5 something, it was a 94, and all of a sudden I got a 95. Weird. This is what I'm looking for. So you're seeing an actual 1080 Ti using just the overclock utility hitting a core of 20-25 megahertz. And I'm gonna tell you right now, when I've got a full load on the card and I'm gaming like Battlefield 1, I'm running a constant 2000. I believe is what it was. I was seeing, and that's just insane. These card. I mean, out of all the graphics cards and different cards that have been out there, this would be the card to buy for the money, and it's still overpriced as far as I'm concerned. But you know, there's the benchmark, and maybe I'll run Heaven. I ran Heaven earlier and stuff like that, but I was really hoping to see that 9.5 again. I don't know. I have to run some more and look at some different scores to see what's going on, like the graphics score, to see why I'm getting down this. Because I think the second test I ran was a 9.2. But that's alright. We always know that these scores are going to be up and down a little bit depending on what's going on in the background and drivers. And also, one other thing I wanted to talk to you about was drivers, is that the latest driver that came out, 4.6, it actually seemed to be performing worse than the driver before, and the shadow play is not even working. So I had to actually uninstall wipe registries and remove the driver. Then I reinstalled the driver, and it still could not record Battlefield 1 gameplay last night. So I uninstalled the driver and rolled back to this new driver and did a clean install on it, and everything seems to be working fine. So they've got to fix something on the drivers. There's an issue. But anyhow, this has been Advanced with Tag Gaming. Subscribe. I got some more benchmark things coming out, like Heaven and stuff like that, and some Battlefield 1 gameplay. And it's at 1080 resolution scaling 150 to maintain that strong 144 megahertz, and that's what my monitor is. Alright guys, I'll talk to you later.